Today, I will show you a drama, crime, and action film from 1994. Entitled Léon, the Professional. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. A tracking shot takes us to Little Italy in New York and inside a restaurant. Tony tasks Léon to convince the fat man that moving into Mauricio's territory isn't a good idea. Léon takes the task. On the day, the fat man enters his hotel with a massive security detail. He's there to see his girl and do some business. Léon arrives at the reception. The man gets a call from Tonto, telling him that a serious man is coming up to talk to him. He alerts his men about the incoming company. They wait in front of the elevator, and the moment somebody appears, they start shooting. The body was Tonto. The rest of the men scatter to get the car ready and search for the assassin. As the main bodyguard looks over the stairwell, Léon grabs him and pulls him over. The others are packing up the drugs and money, getting ready to run out of there. Léon keeps picking the bodyguards off and blocks both the exits. He traps the fat man in the room and kills off the rest of his detail, then peeks through a bullet hole, prompting the man to fire. The man grabs more guns and a telephone to call 911. He says somebody is trying to kill him and hides until they connect him to an officer. Léon shows up behind him and he hangs up. He tells Léon to take the drugs and let him live, but he just shows him a number and tells him to call it. Mauricio greets him from the other side of the line and tells him that they'll never see him back in town again. He asks for Léon, then tells him to make sure he understands and let him go. Léon tells him to say that he understands and disappears into the darkness. Later, Léon gets his usual milk from the neighborhood store and walks into his building. Mathilda is sitting on the stairs and sees him walking up, then greets him. Léon can tell that someone beat her up, but she lies about how it happened. She tells him not to tell her dad about the cigarette. Suddenly, someone walks out of her apartment and argues with her father about the drugs he holds for them. Malky tells him that he has to be honest about the drugs so he doesn't have to disturb his boss. However, Mathilda's father sticks to his story, so Malky tells his boss that he wouldn't admit to cutting the drugs. Stan turns around and sniffs the father, saying that he believes him, but that he has to find out who did by tomorrow at noon. They leave and the father yells after them that they should find out themselves, then slaps Mathilda around. Léon overhears the whole thing. He showers, drinks his milk, irons his shirts, and most importantly takes care of his plant. As night falls, Léon sits down in his chair and sleeps. The next day, Mathilda's family is going through their morning routine. We see her dad, mom, older sister, and little brother. Léon is doing his morning exercise. The dad tells her mom that he thinks he screwed up this time. Mathilda changes the TV station and her sister chases after her, slapping her around when she gets to her. The phone rings and the girl answers. It's Mathilda's school calling to tell her parents that she skipped school for 2 weeks, and if they don't explain why, she'll get kicked out. Mathilda says that she's dead. Léon puts his plant in the sunlight and leaves his apartment, overhearing the mess at Mathilda's. He watches Singing in the Rain in the cinema, enjoying every second. When he gets back home, he finds Mathilda on the stairs with a bloody nose and tells her that life is always hard. She asks him if she should get him some milk from the store. Back at his apartment, he grabs a glass and some milk. Simultaneously, armed men walk into the building, followed by Stan. He takes some sort of drug and says he likes the calm little moments before the storm. Mathilda's dad is waiting for them to arrive as they said they would, and Léon sees them in the hallway. Stan shoots his way into the apartment and his men go after him. He kills the mother first, then kills the older daughter and ransacks the place. His men are scared of him too. Stan finally gets to the father and tells him it's 1 minute past noon. Malky and the rest come inside and he tells them to toss the apartment. Meanwhile, Mathilda is in the store getting groceries. Stan toys with the dad while the little boy hides under the bed. The men are going through the apartment and Stan steps aside for a moment, just long enough for the dad to reach for the gun and start shooting. One of Stan's men freaks out and shoots the whole place, killing the boy. The dad runs, but Stan still gets him. When he sees that he got blood on his suit, he follows him and empties an entire clip in him. The man waiting outside gets nervous as he hears the shooting and Malky stops Stan from shooting anymore. Malky steps outside and almost gets shot by the other guy, Benny. Mathilda walks back into the building and immediately realizes something is happening. She sees that her dad is dead and hears Malky say that they killed her brother. She rings Leon's doorbell, begging him to let her in, while one of Stan's men watches her struggle in front of the door. Leon hesitates, but eventually opens his door for her. She goes into the kitchen and he stays by the door. Malky sees that Mathilda is missing and they look for her. The man by the door remembers Mathilda and comes to Leon's door. He follows him with his gun when she turns on the TV, scaring both of them. They find the drugs as the rest of the cops arrive. Stan tells his man to tell them that they were doing their job. Leon expresses his condolences to Mathilda about her family, but she tells him that they were all terrible, except her little brother, who she loved very much. He gets a pig oven glove from the kitchen and tries to cheer Mathilda up in a childish way. Leon asks if she has anywhere else to go, and she says no. He gets some more milk. When Mathilda opens his case and finds his guns. When he comes back, she asks if he's a cleaner, a hitman. He says yeah. Later, Mathilda asks how much it would take to hire him to kill the men that killed her brother, and when she hears the price, she offers him a deal in exchange for working for him. He'll teach her how to become a cleaner. Leon says no, but she tells him that she has nowhere else to go. Instead of arguing, he tells her to rest and they'll talk tomorrow. He tucks her into bed and she tells him that he's been very good to her. In the middle of the night, Leon decides to kill the girl. When he reaches the bed, however, he changes his mind. The following morning, Leon puts his plant in the sunlight and does his exercise. He hears Mathilda get up and tells her that after breakfast she needs to leave. Mathilda hands him a note, only realizes that he can't read. It says that she's decided what to do with her life. Mathilda wants to be a cleaner. Leon gives her a gun as his goodbye gift. He works alone. Mathilda tries to convince him by saying that, since he saved her life, he's responsible for it. Leon tells Mathilda that she's just a little girl and that she won't be able to do it. Mathilda takes the gun and shoots out of the window as proof that she can. Later, Leon and Mathilda are seen walking down the street. He stops and tells her never to do that again because it's unprofessional. They get to a hotel. The receptionist asks if they plan to play the violin there, so Mathilda lies and charms him into saying that it's fine. He gives them some forms to fill out and Mathilda grabs them, saying she'll do that so Leon doesn't feel ashamed. Leon leaves the plant downstairs and joins her in the room. He goes through it, checking it out thoroughly, then sits down as Mathilda finishes with the documentation. She pleads with him again to teach her how to be a cleaner. Sometime later, Leon goes to talk to Tony. He asked him to get a gun med for beginners and Tony can't believe it. Leon tells him he needs it to practice. Later, he opens the box with a rifle in front of Mathilda. He says that the rifle is the first weapon she needs to learn because it will let her keep her distance from the client. The closer she gets to becoming a pro, the closer she can get to The client. They find the right position. For practice, he tells her to hit whomever. Mathilda peers through the scope and says no women and no kids. She sees a man jogging and Léon tells her what to do. He says now, and she hits the guy with a paintball. Léon is impressed. Later, Mathilda is seen washing the windows and the dishes and cleaning the guns. They do crunches together and Léon makes her drink milk. At night, she sleeps in the bed. And he sleeps in a chair as always. He wakes her early in the morning to do more crunches. But she exercises with the same program her sister did. She teaches Léon how to write and he teaches Mathilda to put a gun together. One day, Mathilda thinks they need a break and tells him they should play an association game. She dresses up like Madonna, then Marilyn Monroe, then Chaplin. But Léon has no idea who they are. Lastly, she dresses like Gene Kelly and Léon finally gets it. For his turn, he acts like John Wayne, but she has no idea who he's supposed to be. Mathilda watches Léon taking care of his plant and comments that he really loves it. He says that the plant is like him. She tells him that if he really loves it, he should plant it so it can grow roots. One day, Léon goes to see Tony and asks him if someday he can have the money he's made. Over the years, Tony thinks he's met a woman and tells him that he has to be careful with women. He reminds him that he was in trouble because of a woman before. Léon says that he would like to give some of the money to help someone out. Tony agrees and tells him that his money is there. He should just ask. Then he hands him $100 and says they need to talk business. While Tony's away, Léon sees Mathilda talking to a boy and goes out to talk to her. He scolds her not to talk to random people on the street, tells her to stop cursing and to stop smoking. Back at the hotel, Mathilda tells Léon that she's falling in love with him. Léon asks her how she knows and she says that she feels it in her stomach. He tells her that it doesn't mean anything and leaves for work. He has a teeny breakdown in the hallway but quickly gets it together. Mathilda watches him go from the window. Later, she talks to the receptionist and tells him that Léon isn't her father, but her lover, and leaves the man stunned. She goes to her apartment and sneaks in behind the tape. Mathilda takes her brother's stuffed bunny and steps in the outline of his dead body. She finds her dad's secret money when she hears Stan come in and hides. Mathilda hears him tell IA that her father reached for the gun so he had to kill him and that he didn't see any kids. The other cops tell him to cooperate. He says that if he wants them to cooperate, they should come to his office. Mathilda remembers the number of his office. She runs after him, gets in a cab, and tells the cabbie to follow the car. Mathilda finds out that Stan is a DEA agent. She's already back in the room when Léon arrives. He gives her a present when the receptionist knocks on their door to kick them out of the hotel. Mathilda and Léon get another place. He takes a shower and stitches himself up. Mathilda pours him a glass of milk, hands him the money she got, and orders a hit on the men that killed her family. Léon says he's not taking the job and that he won't lend her his gear. Mathilda asks him why he's being so mean to her and why he won't help her avenge her family. Léon says that revenge is never good, that it's better to forget. But Mathilda can't forget. He tells her that nothing is the same after you kill someone. She'll have to sleep with one eye open for the rest of her life. Mathilda loads the revolver and says that if she wins the game of roulette, he has to keep her forever. Léon tells her that she'll lose because there is a round in the chamber. She puts the revolver on her temple and says that she loves him, but he grabs the gun and it fires away from her head. Mathilda thinks she's won. They go to see Tony together. Léon says that he took a hit and needs help. Even though Mathilda's Young, she learns fast. Tony hesitates, but tells his busboy to get 2 glasses of milk for them. Léon and Mathilda go to do a job together. He teaches her how to tell where the chain is. Léon rings the bell and she starts talking, convincing the man to open the door for her. Léon breaks the chain and she comes in after him. He puts his gun in the man's mouth and brings him along as he checks out the place. When he sees that it's clear, he tells the man where to stand and tells Mathilda that it's her turn. The girl puts her gun together and shoots the man with a paintball. Then delivers the second security shot. Léon explains what each shot is for as the man is confused about what they're doing. He tells her never to shoot in the face because they need to recognize the client. Léon shoots the man and tells Mathilda how to take care of her silencer. Before they leave, she destroys the drugs. Later, they celebrate with champagne. Mathilda asks for a kiss, but he says no and tells her to sit down. She tells him she's in love with him again. Léon tells her his first hit was when he was 19. Mathilda chugs a whole glass of wine and laughs maniacally, making Léon super nervous. They go to make another hit and another, perfecting their routine. When they reach one apartment, Léon hears the man inside preparing a gun and gets Mathilda out of the way. He tells her that when it's ugly like that, she should use the ring trick. Léon chucks a grenade into the apartment and shows her the grenade ring. The next day, Léon goes to see Tony by himself. He's nervous and sits down telling Tony that if something happens to him one day, he should give his money to Mathilda. Tony says that he can count on him. Later, Léon gets ready for a job but tells Mathilda that he can't bring her with him because it's a big one. He tells her that he needs a moment for himself, some time to grow up. Mathilda is left by herself, taking care of the plant, watching TV, getting older. A few boys try to bully her, but she just gives them money and tells them to play somewhere else. She's planning something. Mathilda stakes out Stan's workplace and follows him inside. She pretends she's taking food to his office and signs into the building without a hitch. Mathilda follows Stan into the men's room, but he waits for her there. He orders her to put the bag on the floor and tell him who sent her. Mathilda says she does business for herself. He asks if it's something personal and she tells him that he killed her brother. Stan apologizes but asks Mathilda if she wants to join him. She wants to live and he says that's good because he takes no pleasure in killing someone that doesn't want to live. Suddenly, one of his men comes in and tells him that Malky is dead. The people he was making a deal with told the guy that a pro killed Malky. Before the professional shot him, he said, "No women, no kids." Stan doesn't kill Mathilda and tells his man to take her to his office. She realizes that Léon killed Malky. When Léon gets back home, he finds a note from Mathilda saying that she's after Stan, and that she's left money for a contract to kill them if they end up killing her. She says she loves him again. Léon quickly goes to the DE office to get Mathilda. She's in Stan's office with his men who wonder what she would do with all those guns. Suddenly, Léon shoots them both and they hug. That night, Mathilda puts on the dress he got for her. Léon likes it. She sits next to him and tries to seduce him. Léon rejects her because he can't. He tells her about a woman that he was in love with, back in Italy. Her father didn't want her to see Léon, so he killed her. The police let the father go after 2 days. One night, Léon killed him and took a boat to America. Since then, he never had another girlfriend. Mathilda says okay, but makes him share the bed with her. Léon sleeps in a bed after a long time. Later, Tony gets a visit from Stan. They surround his restaurant. Stan sits down and asks Tony if he knows who killed Malky, considering the hit was on his territory by an Italian-looking man. He also tells her about Mathilda and the man who came to get her from his office. Stan wants to meet him. Léon wakes up the following morning. Mathilda asks if he slept well, but he answers that he always sleeps with one eye open. She gets up to buy some milk and they repeat the secret. Knock. Léon lies back down. When Mathilda gets back, Stan is there waiting for her. A SWAT team grabs her before she can get into the apartment. They ask her for the key and if there is a way of knocking so he knows it's her. Mathilda gives them the wrong code. The men knock on the door, get ready to storm the apartment, and inform Stan they're ready to go. Once they go inside, they don't see Léon, who closes the door behind them and kills them. The others see that they're dead and call it in. Stan turns to Benny and tells him to bring everyone. Police patrols and emergency services surround the building and more SWAT enter the building. Léon waits in the apartment and begins shooting until he also gets hit. One of the cops takes a look at the apartment and finds himself eye to eye with Léon's gun. He tells the others and they back away. Léon tells them to let Mathilda go. She joins him and gets the axe off the wall, while he backs up, holding the officer hostage. He shoots the sprinklers and the other officers think he shot their guy, so they come in shooting, killing him themselves. Léon shoots again and they back away, asking for reinforcements. Mathilda apologizes as Léon prepares for the fight. He saves his plant from the incoming sniper fire. Then they go into the other room. The police block out the hallway and Léon makes another way for them to get out. He shoots a hole in the wall and puts Mathilda in there. She doesn't want to go because she knows he won't fit in there too. Léon tells her that he has lots of money with Tony that they will take and leave together. Meanwhile, the police are preparing to blow them up. Mathilda is worried that she'll lose him, but Léon tells her that she's given him a taste for life and he never wants to be alone again. He convinces her to leave down the shaft and tells her that he loves her. The police blow up the apartment, but thankfully Léon survives. They get ready to go in when they see someone raising their hand. The man gets picked up and taken down. Léon managed to fool them into thinking he's one of theirs, and they get him out. Meanwhile, Stan is pissed that they can't find one man and a girl while Mathilda gets out of the building. The medic is taking care of Léon when Stan arrives and recognizes him. Léon puts the mask back on and Stan gets all of the officers out. Mathilda exits from the back, then walks right by the cops. Léon gets downstairs and is close to the exit when Stan shows up behind him and shoots him. He leans to check on him and Léon asks if he's Stan. When he confirms it for Léon, he puts a grenade ring in his hand and says that it's for Mathilda. They both blow up. Mathilda is with Tony, who suggests that he can hold the money for her as he did for Léon. He gives her $100, but she asks for a job as a cleaner. Tony yells at her that it's over because Léon is dead. They both heard for him. Tony tells her to get the money and get back to school. Mathilda goes back to the school where she was kicked out of and tells them a fake story about how her parents died. The principal welcomes her back to the school but gives her the condition to stop lying to her. She wants Mathilda to trust her. She tells her the truth and shocks the woman. Mathilda plants Léon's plant in the yard and says that they'll be okay there.